Birds see quantum fields. Can humans learn? Welcome back. I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Quantum Humans series. Let's start with a question that challenges our assumptions about biology and perception. Can humans learn to see quantum fields? That may sound outrageous at first, something out of science fiction, but nature has already answered it. Robins, for example, can. These birds migrate thousands of miles using an internal navigation system we're only just beginning to understand. It turns out they see the Earth's magnetic field, visually, biologically, and most importantly, quantum mechanically. For decades, scientists tried to explain this ability through magnetite, a mineral found in some animal tissues thought to act like a compass. But that theory broke down. The behavior of birds in flight, particularly in controlled experiments with rotating magnetic fields, pointed to something far more sophisticated. Researchers discovered that a protein in the bird's eye, cryptochrome, exhibited properties that could only be explained through quantum entanglement. When stimulated by light, this protein created paired electrons whose quantum spin states remained entangled just long enough to alter how visual data was processed. The bird wasn't just sensing magnetic direction, it was seeing it, likely as a shaded pattern overlaid onto its natural visual field. This process, known as magnetoreception, isn't limited to birds. It's been observed in sea turtles, lobsters, bacteria, foxes, cows, and even worms. But here's where it gets very interesting. Humans might have it too. In 2019, researchers at Caltech published a study in the journal eNeuro showing that when human participants were exposed to rotating magnetic fields, their brain's alpha wave activity dropped significantly, a classic sign of subconscious neural processing. The visual cortex was responding to a magnetic input, even if participants weren't consciously aware of it. This opens a new possibility. Our biological systems may still retain the architecture for magnetic field detection. We just don't access it consciously. Perhaps it's dormant. Or maybe, in a world saturated with artificial light, static environments, and technological noise, we've simply become numb to these subtler layers of input. But what if we could wake it back up? Military researchers are already trying. The U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, has been quietly funding a series of programs under a broad umbrella called Quantum Vision. Publicly, the goal is improved navigation without GPS, using biology instead of satellites. But internal leaks and declassified white papers suggest something deeper. These programs are investigating the reactivation of dormant human cryptochrome receptors through optogenetic stimulation, targeted light-based activation of genetically primed proteins in the eye and brain. Essentially, they're attempting to restore a quantum-based sixth sense. According to a 2024 leak, DARPA's interest lies in the field applications of such a sense. Soldiers being able to feel the presence of power grids, detect surveillance equipment, or orient themselves in total blackout conditions, all without needing external gear. It's not about making soldiers into superheroes. It's about making them biologically integrated with the battlefield. But while governments experiment in secret, civilian researchers are beginning to ask a much larger question. If birds can see quantum fields, and if humans may have the biological components to do the same, could we train ourselves to access this perceptual layer consciously? Some fringe labs and independent biohackers believe so. They're using combinations of sensory deprivation, pulsed light exposure, magnetic field chambers, and neural entrainment to attempt exactly that. In one experiment conducted by researchers in Finland in 2025, subjects were placed in magnetically shielded rooms and then slowly exposed to artificially rotated magnetic fields while blindfolded. Participants began to report spatial awareness that couldn't be explained by sound or touch. Some accurately pointed to magnetic north. EEG scans showed increased activation in regions associated with spatial orientation and visual processing. Their conclusion? Humans retain the substrate for geomagnetic awareness, but it needs to be trained back into function. Others are approaching it from a chemical angle. Cryptochrome proteins are light sensitive, but they're also sensitive to blue light in particular. Some researchers are experimenting with timed blue light exposure cycles to attempt to synchronize cryptochrome activity with Earth's magnetic field fluctuations. Combined with focused breathwork and closed-eye visualization techniques, these protocols aim to gently nudge the nervous system back into quantum alignment. Now let's talk about altered states. Across ancient cultures, there have been consistent reports of seeing energetic structures that are invisible in ordinary perception. Shamans describe seeing the grid that connects all life. Yogis speak of subtle light during deep meditation. Ayahuasca users report seeing patterns, frequencies, even circuitry. These are often dismissed as hallucinations, but new research suggests otherwise. Functional MRI scans of individuals on psychedelics like psilocybin show massive activation of visual areas, even with eyes closed. Some neuroscientists now hypothesize that these substances open up suppressed visual channels, potentially tapping into environmental inputs that are filtered out by the default mode network of the brain. Could it be that these ancient visions weren't just internal experiences, but real-time processing of quantum-level data the sober mind blocks out? A growing number of researchers think so. In 2023, a team at MIT demonstrated that low doses of psilocybin altered electron tunneling behavior in rat neurons. This isn't a metaphor. It's a quantum mechanical change inside living brain cells. induced by a psychedelic. If perception is influenced by quantum tunneling, then perception itself may be malleable at the subatomic level. And if that's true, then seeing magnetic or quantum fields isn't just theoretical. It's already happening in altered states. The question isn't if it's real. The question is, can we stabilize it? That's where quantum perception training comes in. A new frontier where neuroscience, ancient wisdom, and technological augmentation collide. Several startup labs are now offering immersive programs that include binaural beat entrainment, sensory recalibration diets, magnetic orientation games, and even light field goggles designed to pulse specific frequencies into the retina. The goal? Reactivate magnetoreception, build new perceptual categories, teach the body to feel and eventually see what the brain doesn't yet believe is there. Critics argue this is pseudoscience, and in many cases, they're right to be skeptical. The commercialization of quantum vision is ripe for exploitation. But beneath the marketing lies real science, peer-reviewed, published, and growing rapidly. Let's ground this in an example. In 2025, a biohacker in Germany injected himself with a chlorophyll-derived compound designed to increase retinal sensitivity to near-infrared light. Combined with a low-dose neurostimulant and blackout goggles that simulated a magnetic field in motion, he reported brief visual flashes of what he described as shifting patterns moving in space. EEG confirmed occipital activation. Was it proof? No, but it was enough to spark replication attempts at multiple research centers. This tells us something critical. Perception is not fixed. It is shaped by biology, environment, intention, and training. We assume the five senses are the full story, but evolution never promised completeness, only survival. If we're moving into a world where survival includes navigation through electromagnetic fog, AI presence, and field-based communication, then developing these latent senses may be not just advantageous, but essential. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future, Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems, The Behavioral Economy Now Governs Access. 4. Hive Mind, Synthetic Telepathy and Collective Algorithmic Control. 5. Nanobots Inside You, Medical, Military, and Programmable Intrusions. 6. Grief Tech, AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading Your Mind, Consciousness Transfer and Data-Based Identity. 8. Deep Fakes plus AI Clones, The Replication of Reality and Identity Theft. 9. Quantum Humans, The Merger of Biology with Quantum Systems. 10. Digital Afterlife, Where Your Data Goes When You Die. 11. Resurrection Science, Reviving Life Through Synthetic Methods. 12. Immortal Science, The End of Death as We Know It. 13. Longevity Science, Gene Editing, Anti-Aging, and Bio-Upgrades. 14. Designer Babies, Engineered Perfection Before Birth. 15. Artificial Wombs, Birth Decoupled from the Female Body. 16. 3D Printing, Printing Organs, Limbs, and even humans. 17. The Humanoid Era, The Rise of Synthetic Beings Among Us. 18. Legacy Humans, The Slow Phase-Out of Unmodified Analog People. 19. Smart Cities, Algorithmic Environments That Watch and Decide. 20. Cloud-Based Societies, Citizenship Without Borders or Bodies. 21. Hackable Humans, Emotion, Memory, and Behavior Under Code. 22. Biometric Scanning, Your Body is Your Password and Your Prison. 23. Sex Tech, Intimacy Reprogrammed by Machines. 24. Extinction of Gender, Fluidity, Deletion, and Design of Identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.